the shortest war in history. On August 27, 1896, at 9 a.m., a British naval squadron opened fire on the Sultan's palace in Zanzibar city. The British bombardment lasted for just 38 minutes. By 9:38 a.m. it was over. The British had won the war. That's right. The entire conflict lasted for only 38 minutes. It was the shortest war in human history. But why did Britain go to war with Zanzibar? Well, the British Empire had a lot of interests in the region at the time, including control of the important trade routes. However, the Sultan of Zanzibar, Hamoud bin Mohammed, refused to cooperate with the British. He also refused to give up his plans to declare independence from British rule. So the British decided to take military action. A squadron of 4 British warships arrived off the coast of Zanzibar on August 25, 1896, and they began firing on the Sultan's palace at 9 a.m. on the 27th. The British ships were equipped with modern weapons, including quick-firing cannons that could shoot and reload quickly. The Sultan's palace, however, was poorly defended. Most of its inhabitants were asleep when the attack began, and many of them were killed or wounded by the British shelling. The British also landed a small force of soldiers on the island, and they began to advance on the Sultan's palace. The Sultan's army, which consisted of a few hundred men, tried to resist, but they were no match for the British. They were armed with spears and machetes, while the British soldiers had rifles and machine guns. Within minutes, the British soldiers had captured the palace, and the war was over. The British victory was total. The Sultan was forced to flee to Belgium, where he lived out the rest of his life in exile. The short war had resulted in the deaths of thousands of Zanzibaris, while the British had suffered only light casualties. The war also demonstrated the overwhelming power of the British Empire at the time. Despite the fact that the war was over before most people had even woken up, it had a profound impact on the people of Zanzibar. They had lost their Sultan and their independence, and many of them had been killed or wounded in the process. So what can we learn from the shortest war in history? Perhaps it is the hubris of the British Empire, or the vulnerability of the Sultan's palace. Or maybe it's the importance of having a strong military, no matter how small your country is. Or maybe it is nothing more than the fact that sometimes the most powerful empires are brought low by the most unexpected of enemies. Whatever the lessons may be, one thing is certain: the shortest war in history will never be forgotten. Thanks for watching.